Hello, amazing humans. Welcome to the Nourished Pineapple. My name is Sarah King, lover of all things food, fitness related, nutrition related, and generally anything that helps me feel better, well, awesome, amazing, and not like a piece of poop. What I'm going to show you today is how to find one small change, or pick one small change that you can add to your week this week that's going to help you get to whatever goal that you have. Generally, folks want to lose weight. Okay, how are you going to get there? What are you going to do? What have you been doing right now that's not serving you in reaching that goal? If you want to feel better, if you want to have more energy, what's one small thing that you can start today that's going to get you a little bit closer to that goal? One thing that I recommend, or if you're having a hard time thinking of something, and one thing that I have done that I found that helps me, that it has served me, is to add more vegetables to my diet in general. And one thing that I already do every single day is eat breakfast. Love breakfast. And the time that I eat breakfast doesn't necessarily matter. And it doesn't have to be traditional breakfast. It doesn't have to be eggs and bacon and toast. It can be a salad with quinoa, blueberries, some black beans, all in a nice little bowl. So it can look like whatever you want. Be a honey badger. Do what you want. And that way, you're going to enjoy it. You're going to enjoy having breakfast. You're going to enjoy adding those vegetables in. Think of vegetables that you really like. Some of us might not like a whole lot. The list might be short, but that's okay. The more veggies that you add and the more that you are willing to try, the better and better it's going to get, and the easier it's going to get. Because the more vegetables that you add to your diet, the more your body's going to crave those vegetables, because man, they make you feel awesome, and they are what your body craves and what your body needs. It might not know that right now, because we might be feeding it processed foods that are high in sugar, high in those fats that just don't serve us, or just might be too much fat. Things might just be a little unbalanced. So if you're a person that says, man, I eat this food, I eat and then I'm still hungry. What's going on? Your body's telling you something. It's trying to say, I need food that is going to be nutrient dense, that is going to help me live. I need food that's going to help my hormones communicate with the rest of my body and signal things and tell it things, and to operate well, and to be able to have energy and process the food that I'm even eating, that I'm consuming. So one thing that I recommend, and that I'll show you today, is adding a vegetable to your breakfast. Just one vegetable. I'm going to show you a couple different options, but ultimately it's up to what you like. So let's try that out. I'll show you how to chop up a red bell pepper. I'm going to add some of that, chop up some spinach, and then we're going to roast some sweet potatoes. All right, so when it comes to breakfast, the thing that I like to do is add vegetables that I like. And I started out pretty simple with things that I normally eat with my lunch and already had cut up and prepared. So one thing I like to add are red bell pepper. They are full of vitamin C, fiber, and just all around delicious. If you don't like red bell pepper, then that is okay. We could add zucchini, squash, green bell pepper. Got some spinach here that you could add. And then I also got some green bell pepper that I already had cut up. So if you're afraid of cooking, say, I don't like cooking, that's not for me. You know what? I didn't know how to make a grilled cheese when I got into college. My wonderful roommate, Corey, she cooked for me and she fed me, but also taught me a little bit how to not be afraid of the kitchen. And then also shout out to my other roommate, Kim, who started me into just looking at recipes and trying them out. You're gonna burn stuff, might even cut yourself. Be careful, I do that a lot. But the whole goal is to practice. We don't get good at things unless we practice. I tell my son that a lot. It's like, okay, no big deal. You just haven't practiced enough. We haven't done it enough. The more you do it, the better you get at it, and the more comfortable and confident you are. So one thing in the kitchen is being able to cut your veggies up. One tip that I've learned and one safe way to do a red bell pepper is, or anything, when you're cutting something, you want the surface to be flat. You want a flat surface for that vegetable. So I might not be explaining that right. But when you go to cut a bell pepper, one thing that I have learned is I initially didn't like cutting them up because all the seeds, and I would chop off the top, and then I'd have to pull out all the seeds and they get everywhere and everything. So what I've learned, and I already started doing it, is you kind of go down the side and you just go with from the top down to the bottom, and that kind of takes the membrane out, and you just bypass needing to chop or pull off any of the seeds, and they don't get anywhere. And there we go. And then I can get a little bit at the bottom, so we got the whole thing just like that. And I'm gonna get myself a garbage bowl. Shout out to Rachel Ray. There we go. Okay. And then when I go to cut the bell pepper, I usually, when you're going to cut something, you want to make sure you got a good handle on it. Don't put your finger down there, right? But you want to have a good handle on the knife. And when you're sliding through, just like this. So smooth, even strokes. And also when you're chopping, so you don't cut your fingers off, you want to kind of make a fist like this and keep your fingers back. That way you don't catch a finger or a thumb, which I have done. So it depends on how big you want the chop to be, but you can just make the pieces as big as you like. I kind of personally like them small, but then that's when I'm cooking the vegetables. So if I'm cooking a red bell pepper, I like it small. But if I'm gonna just have it raw, which I like to change it up sometimes and just add that to my plate for breakfast, I just like to eat them like this with a little bit of salt and pepper on it. So just do that. And I might not want just bell pepper. I might want to add in some others, but that's up to you. If you want to just start with one, if you're not a big veggie lover and you need to learn, your palate needs to learn, and it will. Your body will start craving vegetables as soon as you start feeding it vegetables. Might not like it at first, but your taste buds change. Did you know that you need to try a new food like up to 7 times before you even start to like it? I used to loathe mushrooms. I still kind of do for some. I haven't tried them enough yet. But I did start trying mushrooms, a certain mushroom, a couple times. I would just keep trying it, and actually did start to like the taste of mushrooms, which is crazy because my mom would be like, no, there's no way. Sarah would never eat mushrooms. Yes, I do now. Another thing that you can add, spinach. And you can add a whole bunch of spinach, which I'm going to do, but I like to chop mine up a little bit when I add it to the egg. And you actually can add this last because it'll cook pretty quickly. It wilts pretty fast and it's really small. So that's one option or suggestion, is you can chop up some red bell pepper, add some leafy greens, some spinach, or you can have red bell pepper on the side. So you just even add a little bit if you don't like, if you still need to get that taste. Or if you want to make a salad with your breakfast, you could just pull out some greens, put them in a bowl, and put whatever toppings you want to, and have yourself a breakfast salad. So when I'm making sweet potatoes, because I want that healthy, starchy veg to add to my breakfast, I preheat the oven before I even start doing anything else, and I set that to 420 degrees. I like to cook stuff a little hotter. And then once that's ready, I'm going to pop them in the oven and start working on everything else. All right, so my oven is preheating, and I'm going to chop up my sweet potato and start getting that on the baking sheet. I'm gonna move my veggies over to the side here. So with sweet potato, you want to make sure you cut them in even pieces just so that they cook evenly when they're in the oven. You can cut them this way if you want to. If you do that, I recommend slicing your sweet potato in half so you have a flat surface to cut on, so you're not maybe accidentally rolling potato and cutting yourself. I may have not done that before. And what you're gonna do is just make some slices like this. I use a baking sheet and I get some parchment paper. Just line the baking sheet with parchment paper. And then I'm just going to set my sweet potatoes on the baking sheet. I don't want to get them too close so they actually roast and they don't end up steaming. I know Julia Child said don't crowd the mushrooms, don't crowd the sweet potatoes either. All right. And I like to use a healthy fat. You do not have to put one on there if you don't want to. But one that I like to use in the oven at high temperature is avocado oil. Extra virgin olive oil, that smoke point is a lot lower for extra virgin olive oil than it is for avocado oil. And what I mean by that is if you ever noticed, if you put extra virgin olive oil on something and put it in the oven and it's a really high temperature, then it gets very, very smoky. And I've done that multiple times till I learned my lesson and went to cooking school, to where if I use something that has a higher smoke point like avocado oil and it's still a healthier fat, then I'm not going to set off the smoke detectors like I've done. So I'm just going to add a drizzle on top, mix up my taters here, and then make sure they're nice and spaced out and stick them in the oven. All right, so we got our sweet potatoes all chopped up. We got our oven set. We're ready to put them in. All right, so I'm gonna stick those puppies in there for about 20 minutes and go do something else. All right, so my eggs are getting done and I want to add my veggies. So here's one veggie that I like to add is spinach. If you do not like spinach, no biggie. You can add something else. You can add red bell pepper. You can add onions. You can add broccoli. Or you can add it on the side, dude. You don't even have to put it into the pan with the eggs. You can just have those on the side. roast some veggies in the oven, make a big old batch for the whole week. That way, if you are running late in the morning or you're just crunched for time in the morning, then you don't even have to worry about it. It's already in there. Pop it in the microwave. Boom, done. Right? Okay. All right, so our sweet potatoes are ready to come out of the oven. Love me some sweet potatoes. Fact, I used to hate sweet potatoes in addition to mushrooms. Other fact, I've burnt myself many times on this oven. It hurts. Okay. Even though I have these, it still happens. Okay, so sweet potatoes are nice and sizzly, ready to go, ready to be eaten with our eggs and veggies. Okay. So my taters, when I take what I want for my meal, slap those suckers in there. Sorry, I'm not very good with the camera. There we go. Veggies. And that looks about good. Awesome. I do like to add nutritional yeast to my eggs in the morning. That it has a lot of vitamins in it, but also is a good source of B12. And I have some issues with getting enough B12 sometimes. Add a little bit of salt and pepper, and then just a sucker for Frank's. I really do put that on everything. So, boop, 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 boop. Tastes really good on sweet potatoes. I mean, it tastes good on everything. Okay, so breakfast is served. I have yummy breakfast. Look at that. And when I go to sit down and eat breakfast, usually have my water and my coffee there, but just something to enjoy. That's something that you put time into to nourish your body, and just be thankful for it, because it's going to make you feel really good. You're going to have energy for the day, and just your body's going to love you. It's going to love you for it. So here you go. Chow down, have fun, and just say, I'm awesome. Look what I just did. I did one small thing to help my body feel fantastic. Good job. Did you know? Digestion starts in your mouth. So, it serves us well when we take the time to chew our food. There's enzymes in your saliva that break down food. That's where it starts. It doesn't start in your stomach. It starts in your mouth. And that starts to help break up food and break everything up to release the nutrients that's in the food that you're eating, because you're eating vegetables and you're eating good protein and you're eating good fat and carbohydrates, and those all need to be together and present when you're eating something so that your body can properly process it. And if we chew our food too fast and take 2 bites and gulp it down, you're not giving your body a chance to start the digestion process, say that 5 times fast, and really get the benefit of what you're feeding it. So take a minute, chew your food, put your fork down, and that's gonna help you out. All right, so what's that one small habit that you're going to do? What's one teeny tiny thing that you're gonna pick for this week to reach your ultimate goal. And it doesn't have to be major. Remember, make it so easy that it's going to start being just like second nature to you. Just like when you get in the car and hopefully automatically put on your seatbelt, you don't even think about doing it. And then next week, I'll be back with something else that we can add on to build on another habit. And if you like this video, thank you so much for visiting. Thank you so much for watching. Please click the subscribe button below if you want to see next week's tip. And also let me know any questions that you might have. This is something new, something that I'm trying out, and I'm open to hearing what you need, what your thoughts are, what your struggles are. So thanks so much for listening. Thanks so much for watching. Remember, stand tall, wear a crown, and be nourished.